everyone, welcome. Well, we are taking stock of NMDC and the quarter gone by, as well as what we can expect going forward. And we are in conversation with Mr. Amitav Mukherjee. He is the CMD and additional charge of NMDC. Mr. Mukherjee, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. My first question to you will have to do with the pricing environment currently and the kind of impact it has had on the first quarter, as well as what we can expect going forward with respect to your expectations on the pricing environment and the kind of impact that it could have for your products going in.
Yeah, last 2 months we had to take 2 price cuts, both fairly substantial. But the first cut was, of course, in the last quarter. That did not affect our profitability all that much because, you know, year-on-year basis, our profits went up by around 20%, by around 2,000 crores. So that was at least some comfort that we had. But then going forward, we had to take one more price cut this month, about about 500 rupees. These are substantial price cuts. I hope that we have bottomed out. I would expect that we have bottomed out, and in future things will look brighter than what they have been looking for the last 1.5 or 2 months.
Right, so if you could also take us through the kind of production that we've seen from the quarter gone by, because if I'm not mistaken, we are looking at a decline on a year-on-year basis, which has had a little bit of an impact in sales too. Why was that, and can we expect a catch-up coming into the next few quarters?
Yes, the production in Q1 declined by around 14%. So that's in absolute terms, that's about 1.3 million tons or something. This will make good. Our own internal calculations are that this should be made good by October 13th or 15th. That is our own internal assessment, that will be able to make good this deficit and thereafter cross last year, because this year our guidance is around 50 million ton against 45 million ton last year. So I think we should be able to comfortably achieve that. Why it declined? One, because there were some union issues in the month of May, where it affected, and in the month of June and July, the monsoons were very severe. For example, there was huge flooding in July, not in this quarter, but huge flooding in July in some of our mine areas. And it received as much as 245 millimeter of rainfall within 2.5 hours. So that was a catastrophic rainfall, which really affected our production for more than 7 to 10 days also. So, but hopefully these are all behind us, and we are all geared up to not only make good the deficit, but also exceed as per our guidance. So regarding sales, that was not that bad. We are almost neck to neck as compared to last year, because we had our stocks and we could continue to service our customers. So sales are almost neck to neck. It's slightly lesser than corresponding period of last year. But then sales will do comfortably 50 million ton, because we are now having the RWLS, and we have opened 2 new manual sidings as well. I think that will take us to well past 50 in terms of sales and dispatches.
All right, sir. Also wanted to touch upon the reclassification of mining royalties as contractual payments. So what kind of a traction are you getting from the state governments around this issue? So have you had any conversations yet?
No, we have not had any conversation as yet. We are actually assessing our impact of this judgment. And our impact, what we understand, is not going to be very substantial. That is our understanding of the situation. There is, out of this 81 cases which were clubbed together and judgment was delivered, we have only one case of 24 crores, and that is related to our Panna diamond mine. And the liability for that would be around 24 crores only. So far as Chhattisgarh and Karnataka is concerned, I think Chhattisgarh, our net liability was about 144 crores, which has already been paid but not accounted for. Even if we account for it, will be about 144 crores. And Karnataka is substantially more. It was at 12%. The gross would be around 4,400 crores, but the net is 2,500 crores, because in an intervening period, we had collected and paid a lot of amount. And because in Chhattisgarh and Karnataka, our customer base is almost the same as it was years back. So I think the chances of recovery of such amount and then would be very, very substantial. So our net effect to our profitability would be rather negligible. That is our assessment of the situation as of now.
Right, sir. Sir, in terms of your expectations for FY25, so you have mentioned your overall production targets at around 50 million tons.
Yes.
Would you be holding on to a market share which remains at 18%? And please correct me if I have this number wrong. Does it stay at 18%? As well as, sir, your view on domestic consumption in FY25? Can we expect an improvement? Any numbers that we are working with here?
I think our share would only be marginally changed, even if when we go up from 45 to 50. You
Right.
see, when we produced 45, the country produced around 277 million tons, and you're right, our share hovers around 18%. So till such time we are drastically able to improve our production to about 100 million tons, for which we are already in the process of doing the capacity building works. So, but that will take 4 to 5 years. So till such time we are able to really scale up and become twice the current production size and more than that. Our overall market share would hover around that 18 to 20% mark only, depending on how others produce. If you see even the last year, last financial, our production grew by around 10%, and the almost the India's production also grew about 10% from 250 something odd to 277, and we grew from 40 to 45. So depending on what others do, currently it will be at the same level of 18 to 20%.
All right, sir. Mr. Mukherjee, we leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us through the quarter gone
Pleasure.
by, as well as what we can expect going forward. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. All the best.